Now, spices can be very intimidating, but today we've got a great recipe for both beginners and advanced. Learning how to properly season and spice your food is the quickest way to transform your meals. And it's going to make transforming your body easier and ultimately faster. So we're going to cook 8 chicken thighs with 4 different variations, 2 thighs each. 2 of the variations are completely set, and the other 2 I'm going to give you some suggestions on how to play with. Remember, food is fun. Maybe with one of the variations, you successfully learn about what you don't like. Today we're going to be cooking our chicken thighs with a broiler pan. This is a 2-piece broiling set. It's got the top with the slits for the juices to flow through and sink and get caught underneath. The reason we want that is we don't want the liquids cooking next to the meat, throwing off the cook times. We want everything cooking evenly and well and getting a nice crisp, as opposed to if those liquids sit next to it, they might make it soggy or cook slower. I'm using a boneless, skinless chicken thigh. That's what I recommend, but ultimately you can use whatever you want. A tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of cumin. I love smoked paprika, but it can be hard to find. You can replace it with regular paprika, but I wouldn't unless you have to. So you're going to want a whole tablespoon of smoked paprika and just about half a teaspoon of chili powder, and I like just a quick dash of crushed red pepper. And I love some kosher salt, so I just add a hefty amount so it's really covered. Mix it up. So this is what it looks like, stirred in. Mostly red, a little orangish, a little brown. Alright, so take the chicken thigh. You want to roll it out so it's a little bit flatter. It's not all together. Just quickly hit it, get the spices all over it so it's pretty well covered. And although we're not going to put honey on 2 of them yet, we're going to do that after it's cooked part of the way. So you're going to spice up, use this spice to put on 4 of the thighs. So we've got a couple different variations. You've got the original spice recipe, the spice recipe that's sweetened up with honey, added a little calories, so you can try that when you have company over or just by yourself if you like those extra calories. Let me give you a couple options, a couple ideas of what you might want to play with. So the original recipe calls for an equal amount of onion powder and garlic powder. You might want to try doubling the onion powder and having the garlic powder, really being able to tell the difference between that one, and then on the next one, do the reverse, double the garlic powder and have the onion powder. Get a sense of what each spice really tastes like and what it brings to the table. So I really like spicy food, and these thighs have a little bit of spice from 2 different spices, the chili powder and the crushed red pepper flakes. I'm going to have 1 set of thighs really heavy with crushed red pepper and 1 set of thighs really heavy with chili powder, and really decide where I like that kick to come from if I have a strong preference one way or the other. You can figure out what the heck cumin is. It's a very unique flavor that you might not be familiar with, unlike onion, garlic, some of those other flavors. So doubling up, adding an extra teaspoon really helps you pull out that flavor. You can also compare paprikas, have one with all smoked paprika, one with regular paprika, or one with 50-50. You can put a heavy amount of kosher salt on one, or leave the other unsalted, or you can compare kosher salt to regular salt. And if you don't like any of those ideas, or you want to try something completely different, if you've had something kind of sitting on the back of your spice rack that you don't know what the heck to do with, you can always just throw it in there. And not only adding a random spice, you could also try taking away a spice from this recipe. I've already got the oven preheated, broiling. You want to make sure there's 6 inches between the direct heat and the chicken. And you want to account for the broiling pan raising it up. So that 6 inches is directly heat to where the chicken is. Make sure you keep track of which chicken thighs are what spices. I'm going to take 3 sets of the thighs off, the ones that don't use honey. Remember, as you take the thighs off, to keep track of which one's which. So just drizzle honey on the other side. Then just quickly throw these thighs in for one last minute. One last tip, make sure you clean up that broiling pan sooner versus later. The longer you wait, the more it sticks, and all of a sudden a quick, easy recipe becomes a big chore as you try and scrub down that pan. This chicken thigh recipe goes perfect with my mashed cauliflower recipe. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Today we're going to be the spices are awesome. They're 0 calories, a lot of flavor. Wars have been fought over spices. Millions of people dead. Just think about that as you ignore them in the grocery store. Shame on you. And the catch underneath for the liquids. Oh, I know it's such a... So I want to find out where... Now, I like spicy food, so I like both chili powder and Alright, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Congratulations on your graduation from thigh school. That's so stupid.